Welcome to everyone. My name is Snezina. I lead our innovation network here at NORA, and we're really excited to have partnered up with our Danish partners, and this time for the first time in Norway to launch the Norwegian AI Championship. We're going to give you a lot of information about it. I'll just very briefly tell you who we are as NORA because we mainly work with PhD students and researchers in the field of AI. This championship is actually our sort of first official attempt to engage as well with bachelor and master students in that field. We are a consortium of 8 universities, 5 university colleges, and 4 research institutes across Norway. And our main focus is on essentially coordinating all of these different organizations and pushing Norway further into research, education, and innovation when it comes to AI, machine learning, and robotics. And yeah, this championship is our attempt now to as well start engaging with students on bachelor and master level in that field. And we are super grateful that we have on board Ambolt, the Pioneer Center in Denmark, and the Danish Data Science, who've actually allowed us to join their championship this year. They've been hosting it for several years, so they really are masters in it, and they've essentially allowed us to use their infrastructure and everything they've put in place for us to roll it out for the first time in Norway. And to make it clear, actually, the Norwegian teams will be competing amongst themselves, and the Danish teams will be competing among themselves. So there's going to be a winner in Norway and a winner in Denmark. But all of you will be sharing the same challenges, the same jury, and any essentially problems or questions that you might have. Both teams and coordination units in Denmark and Norway will be sorting it out together. I am mainly the coordination person on the Norwegian side, but I'm working with awesome people. Some of them are here on this call. Sander is working very closely with the Danish side. He's actually in Denmark and is sorting things out on the technical side of things. And Alex is also on this call, who is leading our organization committee here in Norway and is working very closely with us to make this happen in Norway. And now, sticking to our program, I'd like to invite Andreas, who's the CEO of Ambolt. They're pretty much the main organizers of the Danish AI Championship, and he's going to just tell us a bit about the story of the championship and hopefully share some information that we'll find very helpful, especially for those who really want to become the winners. I'll stop sharing and I'll give you the floor, Andreas.
I'm Andreas Eriksen. I'm actually a quarter Norwegian, so I'm very happy to bringing the competition to Norway this year. I'm one of the founders in Ambolt.ai. We founded the company 8 years ago while we were studying our master in computer science and AI, and figured that this technology was something to really be brought into the real world. And yeah, ever since then we've been trying to do that, and that's actually also what we're trying to do with this competition, to encourage you as students to actually build something that is behind APIs and everything. But I'll dive into that a little bit later. This year is just to introduce the organizations behind the Danish National Championship. So this is of course where it all started. So we at Ambolt were the first ones to ever host the competition. We're a private company. We're just crazy about AI. So we decided 5 years ago, so it's our 5th anniversary this year, to try and do something for students during the COVID times. So for us, we started in a group room at the university with a big passion for this kind of technology, and wanted to give something back to students with this competition. And I think we managed to do that quite well, especially if we look at the other organizations that we attracted to this competition as well. So we have the Danish Data Science Academy, which tries to promote data science across all the 8 universities in Denmark. and is doing a phenomenal job at getting more and more students into data science and really bridging the gap, I would say, between being a student and being a researcher. Then a little bit more on the research front, we have the Pioneer Center for AI, who of course is very much interested in having as many AI researchers as possible in Denmark. And then on the Norwegian side, we have you from NORA. So thank you very much for joining us for this year's competition and trusting us with bringing the infrastructure to Norway and taking the competition to Norway and really being part of creating an amazing week for the students. And then just a little bit about the vision for the competition. So this is a picture that was taken last year during the D3A conference in Denmark, which is hosted by the Danish Data Science Academy and the Pioneer Center. And at this competition, at this conference, they invited the winners and the runner-ups for last year's competition, and we asked them to sit down for a quick session of 15 minutes. This was way before the dinner, but they met, they connected, and they ended up actually sharing a table during the dinner and spending quite a significant amount of time doing the rest of the conference together as well. I know we have the winners from last year here as well, so maybe they can say a little bit about how much time they actually spent together. But really what this is all about on our end is creating a community of like-minded students who are really into AI and want to be pushing sort of the boundaries for what can be done as students. Then there is the entire Ambolt team. So this is a 1 week hackathon, and I can honestly say it's the best week in all of Ambolt. So we get together, we have t-shirts, these are the ones dating back to, I think, the first year actually. And then we just spend a tremendous amount of time trying to help the students out, trying to figure out if we should change anything with the use cases, and it's sort of a really bubbling week all together in the company doing the hackathon week, and there is a lot of effort being put into it as well. Then just to dive a little bit into what to expect from the competition. So what we're trying to do is to test a number of different use cases. So that can be anything from, for instance, an AI text detector. This was one of the use cases 2 years ago, where I would say LLMs were still a pretty new thing. So the task here would be to give in a text to classify if this text was written by a real human expert or if this text was written by an LLM at the time. For this one, we got an early access to the first Danish LLM. I know you're actually building one in Norway as well. So I think it's a very interesting way to also test some new technologies with students and see how well things are going there. Another case we had was a tumor segmentation case, where given one of these PET images, you were to figure out if this person had a tumor or not, and where that tumor would be. So a classic computer vision segmentation task, where the object here is, of course, to really locate a true positive and not false positives or false negatives. And lastly, we have something connected to reinforcement learning. For instance, like this lunar lander, where the objective is to control the lander so it ends up in between these two flags. And this is pretty much what will be the overall design of the competition going forward. So we want to focus on a broad range of use cases to make sure that it's not the best LLM team that wins, it's not the best computer vision team that wins, it's really the team that performs well across a number of different use cases. And during the week, there will be a leaderboard. This will be, so there will be one in Denmark, there will be one in Norway. There will not be any sort of, so everything is kept in separate databases and everything, so it will be unique for both countries. But what this leaderboard really does, at least in our experience, is that it creates quite a nice way for everyone to follow along and see how everyone is doing. In a, I would say, very classical AI sense, we have split this into a validation and evaluation leaderboard. So during the week, you can test as many times you want in the validation leaderboard. That's sort of, I would say, a playground for making sure your things are working and all of these things. And then for evaluation, you will only have one single attempt, and that will be final for your total score in the competition. And each use case is scored with 1/3 each. So it's really about scoring well across all of them. As I mentioned in the very beginning, we want this to feel like building, I would say, commercial grade solutions. So during the competition, we don't limit you on what kind of hardware you can run on or how you do things. So you can also gather your own data and everything. So really what we do is we have this endpoint setup that we ask you to connect your model to, and then we query your model to see how it performs, and that's how you ultimately evaluate it at the end. So we don't just expect you to build a model and share that model with us. We expect you to actually build a full end-to-end machine learning system where you have an API attached to it that we can then query and use for evaluation purposes. Then for a little bit of practical information, I would highly encourage anyone to go to our GitHub and try some of the use cases from the earlier years, just to get a little bit of experience with the cases and so on. It is going to be a very intense week, and the better you're prepared to actually deploy models and these kind of things, the easier it's going to be. So I would highly encourage for preparation to go into the GitHub and try some of the earlier years use cases. And if you want to, we also have virtual kickoffs, the same we're gonna have this year.
Andreas, you cut off for a second, your sound.
To the use cases without the kickoff, but if it's preferred, you can go right ahead and do that as well. Last but not least, if it all pans out for you, you'll end up winning. There's going to be a trophy, there's going to be prize money, and I would say most importantly, there's going to be the title of the national champions of AI in Norway. So this is a picture from the D3A conference last year with the winning team, who I know is here as well. Yeah, that's pretty much my introduction to it. If you have any questions, just feel free to shoot at any time.
Yeah, I also think it might be great as well, Andreas, if it's okay with you to, if for anyone who has a questions for you now, it might be good to just address it now, as we have like, I have a few that were sent to me via email, but I'll just give a chance to anyone here on this call to drop their questions. And while people are thinking, I'll actually ask. My first one was, what criteria do judges focus on most when evaluating the submissions?
That would be the performance of the models.
Okay.
So for all of the models, there is a very well-defined scoring metric detailing how this use case is scored, and that's basically it. So everything is set up to be fully automated. So at the end of the day, the better an algorithm you have, the better your score will be. That being said, we also, of course, hope to see students produce some well thought out code that is robust and is running in certain cases. So one year we had I would say, quite special incident. It actually ended up changing who the best performing team was, because one of the actually it was the winning team last year. Sorry if I call you guys out on this part. We had a long discussion about what to do about it in the jury. So there is a jury as well. I'm sorry I forgot to mention that part. 6 people, 2 from Ambolt, 2 from DD. Sorry, 7 people. Sander is there as well from NORA. So 2 from Ambolt, 2 from Pioneer Center, 2 from DDSA, and Sander from NORA. So the jury's job is to make sure that everything went as it should during the competition and these kind of things. But in general, it's how well your model score on the use cases that is the main evaluation criteria. But also the jury will, if something happens during the week, look at if your code was robust and these kind of things.
I see. Perfect. We have another question regarding what's the maximum number of members each team can have?
We haven't put any cap on that. My recommendation would be anything between 2, of course, and up to, I would say, 5. That's what we have seen working during the competition. So there haven't been any solo winners, not to discourage anyone from participating solo. We had a solo runner-up last year, really impressive. But I would say what we've seen is 2 people, 3 people, and 5 people. So it depends on how well coordinated you are and how well you know each other. I would say if you're not well coordinated and you don't really know each other, anything more than 3 people I would not recommend it. But again, it's all up to you. If you want to have a 10-man team, you can try. But it's going to be hard to coordinate, and it's something where you ultimately also have to share the price, so you have to factor that in a little bit as well.
Yeah. And from my end, to add on that, because we've seen actually people registering. We have around 10 teams registered at the moment from Norway, and around 15 people who've signed up to take part individually. If any of those people who want to take part individually are on this webinar and you want to be matched up with somebody else, feel free to reach out to me. We're also going to share a Discord link that's been started by one of the student groups here in Norway. So you'll be able to find like-minded people to participate as a team if you want to. Then the next question is, will technical support or mentoring be available during the competition?
Yes and no. Technical support, definitely. So if there is something that goes wrong, we are trying to be available. We are less available now than when the competition started, just to be fully transparent. So when the competition started, we had, I would say, 20 hours a day availability. Now we tried to cut it down to roughly within working hours. So between 9 and I guess 5 in the afternoon is our sort of main support hour. So if something happens in the evening time, please bear with the team for not being fully available, because everything is being done on a volunteer basis. So
yeah. And we'll also have a person from Norway as well with the technical side, so we're gonna share that.
And then just for the no part, so mentoring is not something we do during the competition. We highly encourage students to share what they're doing and helping each other out. It's one of the most, I would say, amazing thing we have seen on the Discord in the last couple of years is that even though this is a competition, I mean, people are highly friendly. So if you have any issue or anything, feel free to share it in the Discord, and hopefully some of the other competitors will actually help you out with these kind of things. And I highly encourage everyone to do that because it is really about building these connections and this community.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there cloud services such as Azure to support by training large models or working with heavier data sets?
That part will depend a little bit on NORA, I guess. So there's nothing from the Danish side on that front. I'm sorry, we don't have the resources to share that with Norway. In Denmark, we have a university collaboration with someone called uCloud that is putting up the server capacity for the students.
Yeah, and we're working on something on our end, and you'll get information about all of this in an email. If you have any more specific questions on the technical side, specifically for Norway, feel free to send it my way. My email can be found on the website and all of that. And last question is, what level of AI ML background do you expect from the participants? Like, are the challenges doable for people who are also doing bachelor, or should they be a bit more advanced and slightly leaning into the master's side?
That I would say wait until you meet the winners from last year.
Okay.
They have a really good story about their expertise. But also I would say even if you don't necessarily feel like you're really into machine learning and really know all the nitty-gritty details of everything, I would still encourage people to participate and really be a part of the competition just to learn something. But of course, this is a highly technical competition. So if you don't know how to work on an API, if you don't know how to train a model, I mean, then you're not gonna have a good time here. So this is, I mean, this is for people who know quite some computer science and quite some artificial intelligence as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And the last question is, how much time has each winning team used per championship?
We don't keep track of that. So
I guess the full time of the hackathon.
my experience is that there have been used a very significant amount of hours. But I also and this is just my personal opinion. This is something we have talked a lot about in the Danish jury as well this year. I mean, if this is something where we risk over working students and these kind of things. But I would say in general, you need to optimize a little bit between being too sleep deprived and getting X amount of hours in. So there is a little bit of a trade-off there where it's not necessarily about just putting in hours. It's about putting in hours where you're actually sort of mentally available.
Makes sense. Thank you. I think these are all the questions that people have had for you now, Andreas. Of course, if anyone has anything else, feel free to put them in the chat or send them to us, and we'll make sure to get those answers for you. Andreas, thank you so much. That's been very informative.
Thank you.
Oh, we have Pedro has raised his hand. Go for it. I'm not sure whether you'll be able to unmute Pedro. I mean, you should be able to, but if not, feel free to drop your question in the Q&A. Let's see. Give me a second. I can just go to Pedro and try to unmute him. No, can't see him in here. So I guess all good. Okay, then Andreas, I'm gonna let you go now, and I'll invite actually Michael from one of our sponsors from Kartverket to essentially tell us why you're keen on engaging with us.
Yeah. I also have a little presentation here that I can pull up.
Awesome.
And you guys hear me all right?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I'm gonna speed through in about 5 minutes and talk a bit about why Kartverket is interested in this and why we're sponsoring this. So a quick little introduction of myself. My name is Mikael Ivar Tangerås, and I am currently working as a innovation developer at Kartverket, based out of Kristiansand. Fairly fresh in this position. I've been here for around 2 months now, but I've been working quite a lot with AI and innovation before that. So some quick information regarding Kartverket, or as in English we're called the Norwegian Mapping Authority, or in Norwegian Kartverket. And Kartverket is basically the national mapping authority here in Norway. And we are, I believe we are the oldest technical agency in Norway that is still in operation. Meaning that we, like what we actually do, we collect, systemize, administer, and communicate public geographical information with high levels of accuracy all throughout Norway. Meaning that we have huge amounts of data, with a lot of it actually being available openly for public consumption as well. So we are very data driven, and we use some older systems and are innovating in other fields to provide better services for everyone in Norway. And the main reason for Kartverket supporting these types of arenas is in short that these arenas where we do a lot of exploration and growth and insight into technology is basically critical in order to move into the future. And I said it sounds like almost like a sales pitch, but it is true that we, through these arenas where we explore, experiment, and test new things, that we find the solutions for tomorrow. And I usually say that where there is data, there is potential. And like I stated, at least in Kartverket, there is a lot of data. Although some is more accessible than others, but I genuinely believe that, and I've heard a lot of stories of people utilizing these types of data in AI and non-AI services, and creating some very, very interesting applications and services. And the thing that motivates me and Kartverket as well is that working in these arenas, especially with a fresh pair of eyes, through student participations on both masters or both on bachelor's and master's level, just the fact of like getting new, hungry, interested eyes on new and bold ideas bring a lot of interesting things into flourishing. And I have personally as well worked amongst and with a lot of students previously in and out of work, and I know that for a fact that when people come in with new ideas and a hunger for innovation and just testing new and interesting stuff, a lot of interesting things actually happen. So that is, as I see it, one of like the catalyzers for being part of something as great as this championship. And one thing that I think is important to mention to everyone that are participating is some keynotes about the value of your work and effort, because you will grow as technologists yourselves by working around these types of arenas. You will also obviously position yourself better in like the work field when you're heading out of your studies after a while. But I at least find great pleasure in knowing that the work that you do through your curiosity actually brings better technology for the future and makes things better for us. So that is primarily why we're into this, because it's very interesting. And I can also quickly mention that we here in Kartverket have recently set up our own innovation team based out of Kristiansand, where we also work towards testing and creating new technology, both with AI and some without AI. And we have just started, and we're already expanding. So I hope that a lot of you participate in this competition, and I hope that I will see a lot of you in the future in both the AI field, but also maybe in Kartverket in the future. Who knows? So that's what I had on my agenda for now.
Nice. Thank you so much, Michael. That was very straightforward. And of course, if anyone has questions for him, drop it in the Q&A. I have one very short question, which is, do you guys have any sort of programs or ways of engaging with the students through internships? And if that's something, if you're interested, then maybe we will talk off of this webinar.
Oh yeah, I can quickly mention that we in Kartverket we love working together with students, and we have a lot of different systems for internships, both during the school semesters and during summertime and wintertime. So the short answer, yes, we're very happy about working together with students here at Kartverket.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, yeah, I'll keep an eye on the questions. And in the meantime, I'm gonna pass the baton to William and Christian from last year's winning team of the Danish AI Championship. So, welcome, guys.
Hello. Okay, can you see
Yes, we
our
can.
screen? Okay, yeah. So
yeah,
yes.
Do you want to send a link?
Yes. So we're just gonna send the link to the website. So we actually made a website, and we thought it was very fitting to make the website using AI. So yeah. So if there are any mistakes in it, don't blame us. Blame AI. Okay. So, and this really serves as a guide how to win the Norwegian Championship. And yeah, why should you listen to us? So my name is Christian, and
I'm William.
yes, and we were the previous year winners in the Danish championship in AI, and we placed second the previous 2 years. So we have a lot of experience participating in these competitions, and we've gained a lot of value. Yeah, and we have a lot to say. So we'll get into this. And yes, this is us from the conference we attended after. Yes.
Yeah. So how we're gonna do this is we have like a case study with a task from last year. We will present, and then afterwards we have some like key learnings from throughout the years. So last year there was a task called CT in painting, and this task was essentially we were giving a lot of CT scans, which are like scans of like vertebrae, something in the body, essentially. And so we got like as input for our models, we got these corrupted CT scans where there's like a missing part. And then as the target, what we had to predict was this original image. And in the middle is actually our prediction, which looks almost identical. So it went really well last year with this task. And here's some technical details. We had a lot of training data for this particular task. Yes. And now to the approach that we had.
Yes. So this just serves to show like how could such a solution, like how could a solution look like to one of the problem in this competition. So we ended up using a unit architecture, which we basically just it's just a Hugging Face model that we ended up using. So we used a Hugging Face model, but why were we the best team and not some other team that used also a Hugging Face model? So the key insight needed for us to do this well was to use a lot of extra data from the internet. So we found a lot of extra medical images on the internet. It didn't quite match. The data we were given. So we synthetically modified it a little bit so it kind of matched it somewhat. And then we used it for pre-training. And then afterwards we fine-tuned it on the actual data we got during the competition. Yes, and then the other thing we did, which was really important and is also going to be really important for you guys if there is another computer vision task during this year competition, is data augmentation. So you can basically get extra data by just modifying the data you are given. So like you can do slide rotations or flipping the images, or and as we'll also get into in the later, like data is super important. Yes.
Yeah. So a little bit about the practicalities of solving a problem like this. So as Andreas mentioned, you need to basically host your final model, have an API that the Ambolt servers can call to get a response. A really easy trick to do this is use something called ngrok. It allows you to essentially use your personal computer to host your model, so you don't have to have a public IP. So that's a very neat trick. So this was a bit overkill, but we actually ended up renting 8 RTX 4090 GPUs for this task because we had to do so much training. Maybe this was a bit overkill, but we did it from a site called Vast.ai, which is a really good site for getting cheap GPUs online. And then lastly, something really important when you are submitting your model is to make sure that in case something goes wrong, your model crashes for whatever reason, make sure you put like a try except statement around it in Python and use some default value in case the model fails, because that would be a shame to essentially get 0 points just because the model fails on one instance. A little bit about the teamwork.
Yes, so a little bit about the teamworking aspect of this case. So for this case, we started experimenting with a lot of different approaches. You could also use GANs or diffusion models to solve this task. But we ended up using the unit because we tried the different approaches. So each team member worked on one approach. Or maybe 2 team members worked on the same approach, but maybe slightly different models, and then you can kind of get to know what is working, and then when you figure out what is working, then you can hone in on that specific strategy, and everyone can come together and develop the final model. And a really useful tool to do this is using GitHub organization, which you can also just do whatever code management you like, but GitHub organization is we thought that was really useful. So it basically just allows you to see everybody's repos, create new repos, modify each other's repos really easily.
I just want to mention one more thing for this. So we mentioned a bunch of advanced machine learning techniques right now. It's absolutely not necessary to know all these things. A lot of the time you will kind of figure things out in the competition. You search online, what is a good model for the this type of task, and you can kind of figure things out along the way. So
Yes.
yeah, so some of our key learnings from these 3 years of competing, some technical learnings, I think I already mentioned these: use Ngrok for API development, make sure to have like a really robust submission. Vast.ai is good for cheap GPUs. And
by the way, we are not associated with Vast.ai.
No. It's just it worked really well last year. So and then lastly, I would say for some tasks it can be a good idea to make a really fast implementation of whatever it is you're doing. So if you're like comfortable with a faster language like C++ or Rust, this can be a good idea to look into, but it should only be if it's absolutely necessary. And yes, like some general tips and tricks for the overall strategy. Try to keep the solution simple in the beginning. Don't get into advanced techniques right away. Also, some of the tasks will kind of hint a little bit at what the intended solution might be like, but don't just stick to that. Try other things. And then Andreas also mentioned recommended team sizes. I think from our experience, we would recommend at least 3 people in a team, because then you have at least one person for each of the 3 use cases. And then lastly, don't oversubmit too much to the validation leaderboard. If you submit 100 times on the validation data, you really can't know if you have started to overfit on the validation data, and then you don't really know how well your model will do in the final submission.
Yes. Okay. I'll start with the model. There are kind of 2 components when you're trying to solve a task. There's the model and there's the data. So for the model part, often it's very good to just find an already existing model, maybe on Hugging Face. Yes, because then somebody else has already tried what works and doesn't work, and you can just reap the benefit. Sometimes the kind of like the intended solution, or you might think that reinforcement learning is a good solution to try, but we really recommend you try a simpler solution first, or maybe a classic algorithm instead. If it outperforms the reinforcement learning, so often in some cases classic algorithms can actually outperform the reinforcement learning, and reinforcement learning is really difficult. And also for the model approaches, as we mentioned in the in our use case, it's a good idea to try a lot of different models and then see what works, and then scale up using that approach. And then there's the data. So you get data during the competition, but you can also find, in some cases, you can create more data yourself, or you can find data on the internet. And like if everyone just uses the same models, like they find some models on Hugging Face, like and uses the data given during the competition, like what sets teams apart is like you can get more training data, you can make the model larger, or you can train for longer duration of time. And the data aspect is a really easy way to get ahead of some of the teams that only uses the data given during the competition. Sometimes you can also, if the task is binary classification, you can figure out how to brute force the validation data if it's allowed. So you should probably ask before doing that. Yes, it's a good idea to ask a lot of questions to understand the data distribution, because maybe the description is vague and you're only given like some sample points from the distribution you're trying to model. Yeah, make sure you understand it so that you can create more data yourself or find data on the internet that matches the distribution. Yes, and some of this might not make sense right now, but you have the link to the website. So during the competition, you can always get back to these points and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that might be useful. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just quickly, last year we did end up spending around 300 Norwegian kroner on GPUs per person. It was quite expensive actually, but it doesn't have to be that expensive, but it is critical to have a good GPU available. That is a must if you want to do well. A little bit about some social aspects of the competition that we recommend. Like, try to be active on the Discord, try to connect with people, and share your experience throughout the competition. It's really nice to hear a little bit from the other teams. Also, make sure to get to know some of the other people. These are going to be some of the top students in your country, so make sure to get to know them. It might lead to future collaboration. And also, when you're forming your teams, don't be afraid to reach out to people you maybe don't know. Reach out, set up a meeting, and see if there might be a good fit for making a good team. And lastly, make sure to have fun. It's going to be a tough competition, but you're also going to learn a lot from it. And then, yeah, Christian, do you want to scroll down?
Yes. So we have a big final 24-hour warning. Yeah, so the last 24 hours can be absolutely brutal. We actually, all 3 years we participated, we ended up doing an all-nighter right at the end. We do not recommend doing that because you get super sleep deprived, you make bad decisions. The second year we participated, it actually cost us the first place. You really want to have your working solutions ready ahead of time, so you don't like gamble on some model that just finished training and you don't really have safeguards created. Yes.
Yeah, and so just to wrap up, I think maybe there's time for a few questions now. If you think of something afterwards, feel free to reach out, connect with us. There's a LinkedIn link right here. We'll not help you during the competition, but if you have any questions before or after, then feel free. Yeah, so that's it from us. Maybe there's some questions.
That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I think there might be some questions. I'll give it a couple of minutes. So then, to go back, apart from like your final warning regarding timing, is there anything else you could add to that question from that was sent to Andreas around how much time has each winning team used? So how much did you use last year to win the?
Yeah, so we used we worked on the problems all the days available. Some some people worked more than others. Or maybe different. Like maybe we worked an equal amount of time, but maybe I work the 2 first day, and then William works the next 2 days, right? Where I focus on studying or work. Yeah, so you can kind of allocate it amongst your teammates, especially if you have team members.
I would say, like, essentially we spent every like hour that we didn't study or work, we basically spent on the competition. So it was quite a lot of time. I think it's important to before you before you start the competition, talk about your expectations with your teammates. Maybe some teammates, they can only work 2 days on this, or maybe someone expects to do a whole week. So yeah, talk a bit about expectations beforehand.
I see.
Yes.
There's one more question. How long did it take for pre-training the model or models on your 8X GPUs 4090?
I think we had like several like training rounds where we had to fix some errors and then start over. That's why we also had so many GPUs, so we could try different things in parallel. But I think it was like around 24 hours of training
Yes.
on the internet data. So yeah.
Yeah. So also a good strategy is to for your longer training runs, have them train overnight while you are sleeping. So
Sounds good. Well, I'll see if any other questions pop up in here. But apart from that, first of all, thank you for making that website and thank you for giving such a wholesome overview of what was your experience. A follow-up question just popped up. What about the batch size?
I don't remember the batch size, but you would try different batch sizes to see what works.
I don't think I put it in the
Yes.
code right here.
So usually there's not there's no free lunch in machine learning. You cannot just use there's no magical batch size. So you kind of have to either if you find a model on the internet or on Hugging Face, people have a lot of the models people have already experimented with, and some batch sizes work better. So you can I'd recommend when you find a model, try to read what other people have done with the model already. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. I think we're good with okay. 2 more questions and I think that'll be it. How difficult was finding and gathering the data and who did the process and how did the process look like?
Yeah, so I think I was the one to find the data online. It was, I think that was probably the benefit of being a large team, was that I could really focus on that data with other people, making sure we had like at least decent models. And then when I mean, it probably took me like a few hours to go from finding the data online. I looked at a lot of different sources and then downloading it, extracting it, pre-processing it, and then putting it on the GPU server.
Yeah, so you basically just scour the internet.
Yeah.
There were one year where we had like a sentiment problem where you were given some text and you had to find the sentiment of the text. What rating would you give? Has this person that wrote this review given the what rating has they given? And then you can just scour the internet for ratings on different sites and use that as training data.
Did you try other models than UNet only? What is the strategy to pick the good model?
Yeah,
Yes.
we tried other models and we also tried variations of the UNet. I think, Christian, actually, you coded up your own UNet.
Yes.
And that actually worked quite well, but then turns out maybe the Hugging Face was a little bit better.
Yeah, so yeah, and to determine which model is best, so you have some training data you get. It's a really good idea to get some data. So you get some data from the official data, then you can gather your own data. And now that you have a big pool of data, you want to split the data up into training data and then validation data. And then you train your different models on the training data, and then you can validate it using the validation data. And this way you also make sure that, and then you pick your best model based on the validation data, like how well does it perform on the validation data. Then you'll also be confident that the solution you end up submitting is not overfitted to data you trained it on.
Yeah, I would say also one thing is make sure you pick models that are actually meant to do the task you're working on. Because you might be able to find something that's like sort of similar, but it's extremely important that you're actually training on exactly the right target. Otherwise, because it's all about getting the best score. So
yeah. And the last two questions are, how long did it take you to deploy the model on the API?
that was, I mean, setting it up is quite easy, especially with ngrok, as we talked about. It didn't take very long, maybe an hour or something.
Okay. And is the data structured, or do we need to pre-wash it?
That depends on the task, but I would say in general, things are not being done for you. So you're not just getting a clean, super easy to use data set. You might have to do some things.
Yes.
But usually it does fit the input description.
Yeah, so if it's a supervised learning task, then you'll get some data and you'll get the labels as your training data.
Yeah.
And that usually, like, then you have an X and you're trying to predict a Y, and that you get from the organizers. Yeah, and then so that's basically some samples from the distribution you're trying to model. Then if you want more data, then you kind of have to find it and structure it yourself and create the labels if it's a supervised learning task. And yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I think these were all the questions that were for you guys. And of course, we'll ensure to keep in touch if we start getting any other questions. I'll move on to the last final bit of the webinar. We decided to extend it a little bit to actually invite Erik from A-Star Consulting in Trondheim and Afras from Cogito, which is NTNU's technical student organization for AI, just to share how they're preparing in their local environments for the championship. And I'll also invite Alex, who's leading our organizational committee here in Norway, to just lead a discussion with them about the championship and everything that will take place in August.
So, yeah, thank you so much for these amazing presentations and all the information. It's really exciting also to see kind of the range from the previous the previous events that have been held in Denmark. It's been so inspiring, and the way that this was created during the pandemic, I don't think was mentioned, but kind of to bring students together and to try also to kind of like learn from each other. I think this is also fairly clear from the previous winners that it's something about the friends that you make along the way, not just of course what you're able to achieve, which is significant, winning this competition, but also like to build a community. And on that note, it would be great to hear from from the different organizers. So we will just have a short introduction. My name is Alex. I actually work down in Brussels in the European AI office. So my background is in data science, but I ended up working on policy across Europe. So I'm working on the AI Act and like the rollout of responsible AI, so to speak, across the European region. But we will just have a short round of introduction now of some of the student organizations that are involved and some other organizers in the different local areas. So let's see if we can have them present briefly. I think we could start with Erik, maybe from A-Star.
Yes, thank you, Alex. So I'm Erik. I'm from A-Star Consulting. It's a student-driven consultancy firm from Trondheim. So we're based on the university called NTNU in Trondheim. I'm the CTO there, and what we find is that we young people and students especially have a unique kind of position with all the new tools available with AI to build stuff. So we love building, and we said yes immediately when asked to be invited to this event. And as the boys in Denmark showed us, setting up a website is so easy these days. So building goes so fast. So we want to facilitate to a community in Trondheim during the event. It's a week-long event. So we've had hackathons in the past where we have 24 hours just grinding on, but we want to create a good community in Trondheim for people to come and share experiences.
My name is Afras, and I'm from Cogito. It's a student organization working with different AI projects. So every semester we run 8 to 10 different projects using all sorts of different AI technology and put together groups, and they work together and create really, really cool stuff. So when we heard of this AI championship, it's like the perfect thing for our members, as we believe we have a lot of talent that really has a lot to show. So we're really looking forward, and we're trying to gather as many students as possible for this event. And our dream would be to be able to host a local event for students in Trondheim, so that instead of those who are not able to be in Oslo have to sit alone in their home somewhere, they can come to the campus with us and sit together in groups and have more like a real physical event feeling. And maybe we can even supply with other small things, perhaps some snacks and etc.
Thank you so much. It's really amazing to have you with us, and also kind of you organized this other hackathon not so long ago as well, right? So you have some kind of like a bit experience of I mean, of course it's not the same as the championship, you know, but you have some kind of experience organizing and bringing students together. Kind of like what did you take away from that event?
That was a kind of different event, as it was like 18 hours, which we organized with A-Star actually, and also Norgesgruppen, who provided the case then. And it was like they met up Friday evening and they stayed all night, and then they had deadline on Saturday, like 12 or 11 or something. So it was kind of different. You just had to gather a lot of students in a busy time. So it was important then to just have like enough, I guess, food for them to bother showing up. But now in the summer, I believe it's kind of different. Now that most people have traveled home. In Norway, we have summer vacation when the championship will be held. So we're kind of a bit unsure, as a lot of this participants will also have a summer job. So we haven't figured out all the details yet, but at least some kind of evening event in the afternoons maybe. But yeah, we thought maybe we would hear how Beta was going to do it, as they have known about this for a bit longer, I believe.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jakob from Beta couldn't join today. Last minute, something came up, but we'll put you in touch, guys, to chat. That makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
So, I mean, like I don't know if I see still that William is around. Still, of course, like we had a panel with the students, but if they are still around, then it would be great to hear about how the experience was with the Danish, kind of like how it felt, you know, like the vibe. Because for us in Norway, we are doing it for the first time, you know. So this is, I mean, this is something we want to do well, and we want to make it a great experience.
I mean, it's kind of a long journey, even though it's only a week. But I think, yeah, there's a really good social aspect on Discord. It's nice to see that other people are active there, and
Yes.
yeah, I think also something that was really nice for us was that we actually met up physically together some of the time. It's really nice to just actually get out of your room
Yes.
at
and
least once. And
doing the competition, it kind of feels like a hackathon. Like everybody is collaborating and working together as a team, and then you have the Discord where people are sharing memes and and just really good vibes. And then afterwards, you also get to connect with the other people and meet them. And if you are lucky enough to be one of the top teams, then maybe there's a chance to go to some conference or other event afterwards. Maybe even if you're not part of the top teams, you might have a chance to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it would be super nice if you, as the organizers, maybe could like arrange maybe a local meetup at a university. Maybe like invite some students to just get together and like for some pizza or something. I don't know. It was just an idea, but I mean it's definitely like a very unique opportunity to meet some really skilled people. That you may not meet otherwise. So
Yeah. So for the kind of like in Denmark, like there's some kind of kickoff, right? And then some speeches and like of course the grand announcement of the challenges and
Yes.
and
Yes.
yeah.
We were also being sent merch in the beginning. Some of the years we got like T-shirts and cups and stuff.
yeah, and there was like an announcement right before the competition where all of the teams were in like online in a Zoom call and could ask questions and stuff like that.
So you got the merch like when you arrived to the venue and stuff, like check in and like come to the place, like see the announcement to get the merch or how
So
how was that?
it wasn't like there wasn't like a physical venue to where we met up and coded. It was like an online hackathon. So there wasn't like a physical place where it was held, the championships.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. So I mean, like, so you got some merch sent to your address, or?
Yeah,
Nice.
no, it was like we collected it at the university because I think there's like usually a university has like a local kind of contact person that's
Yeah.
like communicating with the
Ambassadors, right?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
some yeah, this is really great. I mean, like this is because you have it set up across different universities, and I know that this collaboration as well between the Pioneer Center and between DDSA and like these various actors as well is kind of like what makes it come to life. And Ambolt, of course, kind of being the driving force behind this too. It's yeah, it's something we really want to make happen here, and like it's I mean, I would also say to Afras and also to Eric, and that we also want to, as much as we can, contribute to kind of gathering the kind of the top teams of Denmark and Norway as well for like some kind of social thing. Of course, it's not strong commitment, and like I cannot promise anything, but like this is really what we want to happen as well,
I think
and I
that
guess
would be really great.
into like Nordic approach.
Yeah, for sure.
So Afras and Eric, do you have like any questions for like now that we have like the winning team here,
In terms of the event, how is it in Denmark? Because in Norway we've got summer, right? And a lot of students have summer jobs and so on. How is the participation for student summers or summer students?
I mean, actually, last year it was held in, I believe it was October. So it's actually, I think it's in August this year, right? So I think it's. I mean, I'm not sure if we're qualified to talk about how it is to participate in the summer because last year it wasn't in the summer.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, this year is running 1st till 8th of August.
Yeah.
And actually, while we're here, we have two questions. One was, is it allowed to register as an individual and then form or join a team later? Yes. And if you have more questions for that, I can help you out offline as well. But you can register individually. And then the second one is, Are we allowed or expected to start working on the project before the 1st of August? Guys, for you, William and Christian, actually, you didn't get the challenges before the launch, right? So you can't really do much before
Yeah,
your.
you can do a little bit of preparatory work. Maybe you can figure out how to set up like how to like a server or communicate the communication or safeguards but you can't really do that much. So
I would say the main thing is maybe trying to just set up an API so you know how to do that, because it's that's something you don't want to have to spend time figuring out during the competition.
Awesome.
Nice. So an extra bonus tip here as well, I guess, for the people that are watching. And of course, as was mentioned in the beginning, like this will be recorded, so it's always kind of possible to kind of like send this to potential participants and teams, and the team registration in Norway is also kind of like open, so you can like and now we have I think close to 20-ish, like if we count teams and individuals, right? So in a sense, like what we're wanting as well is just to spread the word, you know, and like to send the link around, because we definitely want to build this community in Norway as well. And as was mentioned, you know, like this is all about connecting to other people that are in this field of AI and like trying to figure things out. And this is really what we want to facilitate as well in the organizing committee, and also from NORA's side, you know. Doing something for the first time is a bit scary, but like we have to kind of like try and make it happen, and like and it's so clear that this has benefited the Danish community so much, and like from the stories that I hear and people that I meet as well, in like different situations that said that like they've participated in the championship, they've won the championship. You know, I was just talking to a developer in Vips, which is based in both Oslo and Denmark. And he was just telling me, without me knowing, having participated, he just said like, yeah, you know, I was like in one of the winning teams one of the years in a hackathon, or I was like in the championship, and so I think it's really great to then meet people that kind of have this type of shared experience as well. But yeah, I mean, like Eric and Afros, do you have any kind of ideas for the competition, like or thoughts, you know, about ways that you want it to be as an experience as well? Because of course, like we are kind of like we're working to define how that is going to be in Norway, but it's kind of like something that we are shaping together as well.
I can try to answer that. So, hearing from William and the winners from Denmark, and earlier from Andreas, I think the bar is high. You're expected to collaborate with APIs and probably do cloud computing and so on. So I think having good mentorship will like help to get that going. Because getting stuck with getting something to run in the cloud and talking to APIs during the week you're supposed to train machine learning models, I don't think would be a good experience. So that is also some of the preparation I would suggest doing before the actual event itself. So that won't be the issue you're stuck with in the week of actual doing machine learning and AI work.
Yeah, that's a great piece of feedback, actually, and we might look into organizing something right before it kickstarts. Afras, anything on your end? You're good.
Not much. The only thing is how to do it with summer students for
Yeah.
those who work full time. Because I know that a lot of the members I've talked to in Cogito do have full-time jobs that week. So our plan so far is just to meet up after work, but that will result in maybe 4 hours of hacking because we have to eat dinner and all sorts of stuff as well, and then go back to work the next day, which could be tiring. So maybe I'm not sure what's the best way to do it, because when the semester starts, you suddenly have all sorts of other things you have to do in your subject and so on. but to find a good compromise there, maybe.
I think that's a great point for future years as well. This year, obviously, we're doing it together with Denmark, and it's the same timeline for all of us. But it's a very fair point. And also, we're hoping that from next year or the year after that, it's going to be a Nordic championship as a whole. So then it will be, I think, a lot more reflection will be put on the timeline for it. One thing I wanted to add as well is for the winning team from Norway, we would like to actually, when we give them the official award, we will be more than happy if they're available to fly them to Sweden during our Nordic AI Meet conference. It's a conference for young researchers in the field of AI. And this year we're hosting it in Sweden. And yeah, that's one of the things that also we would like to do. You'll know officially if you're a winner or not, according to the timeline that is shared on the website. But the official, let's say, award ceremony will be Sweden. And if the winning team is available, that'll be really awesome.
Can I ask one? Also, one of our biggest problems right now is that because the campus is closed or nobody is there, it's really hard for us to reach out to students in the area that want to participate that are not our members already. So if it's possible to like mention that Cogito will be holding a physical event on the website, so anyone can join us.
And thank you so much to all the panelists, all the guests, and all the attendees. I hope we found relevant information, and all the information from this webinar is going to be added to the website as a Q&A section. So please feel free to refer to that as well. And in the chat, I've dropped the link to the Discord channel that was started by the beta student group at UIA. But it's relevant to everyone. It's not just specifically for them. So you're more than welcome to start engaging with people already. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have an awesome week.